Hey everybody, this is Reed from the Off the Top podcast, and I'm here to talk to you about Anchor. It is the easiest way to make and distribute your podcast to all your platforms for free. Anchor gives you everything you need in one convenient location, which you can use from your smartphone, computer, or tablet devices. The creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so that they sound phenomenal. And the best part is they'll distribute your podcast for you so that it can be heard from Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, YouTube, and many more great platforms. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. So I want you to go ahead and download the Anchor app today.
Oh my god. Anyway, hello guys. Welcome to Off the Top. We're here, we pick your brain, not your nose. Of course, you know it is JKT. I'm joined by these two guys.
Ken.
And
King
Rodeo
Ken.
Reed.
Yeah, King. Thank you, Reed.
I said it.
No, you didn't. You said
First
it
off,
after.
I want to correct something. For the right price, we will pick your nose too.
No, we will not. I'm not picking anybody's nose, just like I'm not rubbing anybody's
so you're
feet.
saying triple digit price, you wouldn't do it? Just for one pick.
Because see, they're gonna get the nastiest nose they can find. It's not
Do they
like
get to pick the finger that's used?
Yes.
For
a triple digit for like $100,
No.
I would let them pick the finger.
Why?
You're saying it, but
they're gonna
Reed's
get
thinking it too.
Okay, but they're gonna get the nastiest nose.
They can only use their nose. I'm not saying they can
Oh, so they can't pick someone else's nose.
Then why would they
Not
pay you
pick-
that much money if they can't use it to pick somebody else's nose?
Why would they care if it's someone else's nose?
Because they're paying you a triple digits.
to make you pick some disgusting
Survivor.
nose.
First off, fine, it's a tier program. In order to do someone else's,
It's a tier program.
in order to do
When you
someone
reach
else's,
a certain level on Patreon,
yeah,
you
as a
know?
Patreon subscription.
this is one of your member rewards.
You're good.
Is we'll pick your nose or someone else's nose.
Subscribe to my Snapchat Premium, and I'll do it.
Yeah.
Nobody has Snapchat Premium. Anyway, welcome to Off the Top. We're here. We talk about whatever we want.
In
because
studio
we
for the
can.
first time.
In studio, the first official set. The set has changed numerous times. Hopefully, it looks good. It looks good over from what I can see. I'm nearsighted, so I can't really see. It's
I'm looking about as white as a ghost.
Well,
Man,
You can
it's
almost
perfect,
you can
man.
almost see through me.
and it's not even Halloween. Dang it! This is the wrong
Yeah.
time to have these lights, man.
Yeah, goodness.
It's the wrong
Goodness
time
gracious.
to be white.
Anyway, happy Easter to all you guys who do celebrate. If you don't, well, happy Bunny Day. And I hope you guys are having a hoppity good time, eating your candies, finding your eggs.
Some people say it's Zombie Jesus Day.
Oh, well, happy Zombie... Wait, what?
Zombie Jesus.
Happy...
This is the day he was supposed to come back from.
Oh, Resurrection Day.
Yeah.
So why did you
You're
call it...
already
Did they really
alienating
call
a
it
large
Zombie
part of
Jesus
people.
Day?
Some people have.
It's Resurrection Day.
Yeah. Zombies come back from the dead.
Okay, happy Resurrection Day and Zombie Jesus Day for those of you guys who are in that. Zombieland 2 confirmed. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Hey, are you interested in seeing Zombieland 2?
Yeah. Yeah, I like the first
They're
Zombieland.
making
I mean,
Zombieland too?
They've already been said that.
yeah, they said that a while back.
You got to remember, I'm not on social media, but
Well,
sometimes these
time to
things
change
are-
that, Reed. Time to
some of these things are drip fed to me.
Let's get you a Twitter account.
And I've had a couple of my buddies say that they just want me to make a Twitter and follow them specifically so that they can forward stuff.
It's
like-
that's actually pretty
All
good.
right, guys. So he needs to be kept up on social media. So just send it to his Yahoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Hey, I'll put-
All
I'll
Reddit
put the
links,
Yahoo.
everything.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
send it on there,
exactly.
please. 'Cause
Exactly.
no,
I have tunnel vision about this stuff. Like, I didn't know for a long time that they were making a new Hellboy. And I'm glad I didn't know.
Which is out.
For as long as I
That's terrible,
did
I
not
heard.
know,
I don't
it was
wanna
nice
watch
not knowing that that they had puppeteered that corpse that I love. Just another thing that I love being
destroyed.
around.
You know,
yeah,
it's
just to add it to the pile.
What does 2019 come to, man? It's just, everything we love is getting destroyed. Hope streams.
Mortal Kombat's coming out. 11th.
Oh well, that's that. I'm excited for Mortal Kombat. I can't wait.
There's a little bit of, as the British say, controversy.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how they say it?
I think so.
There's a little bit of controversy surrounding that game because a lot of the female characters have been retroactively covered up. They've sort of made changes to their wardrobe, and they were getting a little bit of flack for it. Obviously, the gameplay is primary in importance.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that. But it had a lot of people. It had a lot of people. It rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
It had the perverts thinking.
Yeah, the perverts were just mad. You know, but it's not MK9. You know, where you just walk in and boing, they're just there.
Well, there's it's got the injustice system where you can get different clothes to put them in and stuff too. And
but it won't be the same.
I'm just saying, don't take away the option. Like,
give them the option. Let us be free to choose how we want to look at our.
Mortal Kombat is one of those series where they were saying, and when they came out, NetherRealm tweeted, they were like, well, we just want to portray a more realistic, image of our fighters, and then people were tweeting back to them like, okay, so if you're trying to be realistic, why is this dude shirtless? Why is this dude in a sleeveless? Why is this over here, that over there? If we're trying to be real, and by the way, are we trying to be realistic in a game where you can rip someone's spine out with their skull still attached and hanging above their daughter's face and laugh? It's like, are we really fighting the realism battle with this franchise of all things? True. And juxtaposed to that, Battlefield 5 comes out with a cyborg woman with a robot arm, and they're like, what's the big deal, man? Why is realism so important? Like, come on, bro, we're not here to. It's all fantasy. It's like, what? You got to pick one.
Yeah, come on.
First off, you're trying to talk about a war, which really kind of happened.
Yeah.
And then if Mortal Kombat, you're talking about something that's fake.
That's very fake and imaginary.
But the same argument is used. People in Mortal Kombat say, okay, it's not realistic to fight in a bikini. It's like, all right. It's not realistic to fight in a sleeveless if you're trying to live, but what are we doing?
I mean, the difference between a sleeveless and just a cloth shirt ain't going to be much.
Exactly.
So
then what about the bikini then?
Yeah, exactly.
When you're fighting, it's more, you cool off more when the shirt's off.
There you go.
Yeah,
and then once you're sweating, in the shirt, it gets all hanging on your skin, clingy. It's barely shirtless. Liu Kang knows.
Luke King. So yeah, the gameplay is probably going to be fine, as it always is. I don't play fighting games. They're not. Really
I normally don't either, but I do like the way MK looks.
It looks fine.
So.
It looks perfectly fine. Just kind of disappointing because it's like that's another thing that feminism has, and another grave.
And like I said, no one has even seen all the costumes yet for it, so it could be different.
Sure.
I don't know the way they're making it seem. I doubt it.
Are we allowed to get really inappropriate? Because someone said something that was really funny.
Off the top is
where they
off
said,
the top.
What's next? Mortal Kombat Burqa Edition.
Oh my god!
And it's just like
y'all are messed up.
I didn't say that. I say y'all.
You're a part of it, Ken. We're one group.
It's so easy to make fun of this.
We are then.
But yeah, if that's too inappropriate, and we find out later, I apologize again, Jeremy.
He apologized, so we're gonna let it go. It's real.
I was saying, if it's live, I can't take it back. So.
No, it's not live.
Oh, okay, we're not doing live. Gotcha.
No, but
it's just you never told me. You just told me to show up.
Do you see the red button?
That could mean anything.
Oh my!
That means it's just going.
Okay, Ken.
Chris Hansen comes out. He's like, "What were you doing here today, Ken?"
they told me about Shinder. And
I can't stand both of y'all. Anyway, so I don't even know where to go now. I had something to talk about, and then you just kind of made me forget it because you were talking about
Shinder.
Not Shinder.
Basically, should we tell them about Shinder or wait until it's more fully realized?
It's Jeremy's new app he's coming out with.
Oh my god, no, it's okay. I guess we can go on. So
we
were having a previous conversation before the podcast actually started, talking about different types of dating apps that are compared to Tinder, and we had ones for short people, and I don't know, is it the proper term little people now? Little people? I hope I'm saying using the proper terms.
Dwarfism. People with dwarfism.
Oh my god.
Differently tall people.
So we've come up with, for short people such as myself, as you can clearly see, Shinder is the app to be. So if you're short looking for love, we're gonna make that app. You guys.
If you're over 6 foot, you're not welcome.
Nope.
We don't want you here.
5'7" is the limit. That's the limit.
Would it be that they look at the creators of Shinder and they just see 2 people who are 6 foot or taller?
They're like, wait a minute, this is contradictory. That don't make no sense.
We're just looking out for our smaller friends. That's it.
Exactly. Hey, how was your guys' Easter though?
I didn't do anything for you.
You never do anything, Ken.
My family's doing dinner and stuff. I left before they finished though.
Oh well. I feel bad.
You drug Ken away from his family, Jeremy.
I'm sorry, Ken. You know, I didn't know that's how you felt.
That's fine.
You just gotta be more open. You know, this is an open podcast.
No, that's fine. I got a new car. We can talk about that too.
There you go. Yeah, you did. It's really nice.
Just put your dick on the table, Ken. Just take a look at it, sweetheart.
Hey, how you doing, honey?
No, Ken.
First off,
Ken pulled up in a.
There it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. There you go. Right
Ken,
there.
He's like, yeah, that's about right.
That's accurate enough.
The sound, yeah.
That's accurate enough.
Like, I recognize that thud.
Yeah, I was walking downstairs and here comes Ken in this nice shiny red Honda, and I'm like,
Accord.
Yeah, Accord. And I'm sitting up here like, who is this guy? And then all of a sudden you hear, you're at the wrong apartment, Reed. I'm like, is that Ken? Ken walk out, cool as a mug. I'm like, dang. Who is Ken?
I was trying to make that the first one, that thing that I said, but Reed was going into the wrong place.
Reed turned around with his shades on. He's like, oh, excuse. He put his shades on. He's like, oh, excuse me.
No, Ken. Last time I saw him, he was in a white SUV, and he came out of that Honda like big pimping.
He said, hey, I'm not playing with you guys no more. I'm flexing on you. I got money now. I'm ready to spend it.
Seats and everything.
Huh?
Heated seats and
no.
Oh no,
it's just cloth, not heated.
It's not heated.
No, they're not.
Does it got a refrigerator in it? Does it take regular gas?
Fish tank in the steering wheel?
Huh?
Does it take regular gas?
Yes.
It doesn't take that premium. Are you sure?
No,
Are you sure you're just not trying to save a little bit of money, so you use regular instead of mid-grain?
It's regular.
Okay.
And it is 38 mpg, which is nice.
Look at this guy.
My car was saving.
My car only does 32.
I'm sorry.
38.
I told you to upgrade with us.
I didn't know. You didn't communicate this. Hey, next year.
We all gotta go
around this time frame.
So whenever we go car shopping, we're all gonna do it at the same time.
Yes, we're gonna go to the same dealerships.
This guy who was gonna buy from us is about to make bank to that same day. He's gonna sell 3 cars to 3 people right away.
He's gonna love us. He's gonna say, thank you. If you guys need anything else, come back and see me and be like, no. Now this is just a one-time thing, buddy. We're not getting another car for like 10 years. I'm good. I'm running it to the ground. So, but I did want to go ahead and talk about what we talked about in the last podcast. Speaking of which was talking about AI and technology, because we were talking about that beforehand.
Oh yeah.
How Ken wants to be a cyborg, basically.
Well, what we were talking about last time was that eventually it's going to go to the point maybe that possibly that robots or AI will decide the judgment of humans.
Yes.
That's where we left off.
Judgment Day is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my whole sort of moral quibble with that was justice is supposed to be a human thing, you know? It's supposed to be decided by a jury of your peers. Now, you would think that an AI isn't going to take in any other factors. It's just going to say, all right, this is the law, you broke it, bam, that's it. There's no human element to it. And that's scary to think about.
It depends on the AI, or like if it's a self-learning AI that learned or whatever. You know, like they have those that learn stuff, different things. And from your peers, yes, but if it's something that humankind created, I mean, people will use tools of mankind to dish out judgment all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but not in that way though. Not where it's incorporated like into the legal and the thing too is like with that you're going to be programming that AI with everything that every time you interact with it, you're giving it more information. You're essentially helping to form it. So, I mean, sooner or later it's going to develop something that can keep itself sustained, and then once it makes machines that can self-repair and self-diagnose issues and stuff like that, it's like, where do we go? Where do we go once that thing decides it doesn't need you?
I'm giving it only the options to speak.
Reed went from
not to just pull out the gun and shoot the guy.
My robot's like, first is the judgment, now it's the world.
It's not the executioners.
Because you make that AI better and better and smarter, it's gonna get craftier and craftier.
So you thinking
as if I'm putting this thing into a open world and letting it take over everything. No, it's just gonna be a closed portion of it.
You can't keep AI contained.
Oh my god!
It's like once it's out, and it's just.
I think you're getting a little.
I mean,
I think you're getting paranoid. You're getting paranoid right now.
I'm being conspiratorial.
A little
with this?
bit now.
I don't, man. I think, and the reason that I think this is because all of social media, all of the information that's contained within the internet, that's all just. It's not even like it has to access it. It has it. So it's thinking 10 moves faster than you are. It's just scary.
Does it have to be given access to the internet though?
In order for it to learn stuff,
yeah, it's gonna have to.
It would
learn
have to be given
somehow.
access to what
You
we
can
have.
just it could be self-learning to the point of
Where a human
showing
will
it
interact
different.
with it.
So like kind of how we learn.
Inputting information into it.
So like how we learn. Like
Yeah.
we learn by just seeing, and then therefore when we see that, that's how we learn. So
Yeah, it can be just taught by inputting information, and then it can pick stuff off of that.
I can see that. I mean,
It doesn't have to have access to Facebook and see, Judy has a
one negative
baby
blood.
shower next week. They're gonna forget that drone strike.
What? She's that red lobster eating with her family. That's it. Poor Julie.
God damn you, Judge Tron! You can't drone strike.
Judge Tron.
You can't
No, drone, bad.
You can't drone strike.
No birthday party
baby
for you.
showers just because you've learned you can't have children and now you want to exact your revenge on them.
Now, how do you think the AI will react when? Because a couple of years ago we had the WikiLeaks article about how a lot of the major software and electronics companies, like Samsung, has microphones in their TVs that can hear you. You know, there are cameras on every street corner in your ATMs, here and there and everywhere. Location services on your phone that can be remotely accessed if you know, under the right circumstances. So it's like, I don't know, man. You put all of those pieces on the chessboard.
It depends what you give it access to.
The thing is, who controls, like, is it going to be a company that decides what this thing gets to learn?
It would be the government itself, because the judicial system is ran by the government. They decide, but, you know, it really depends what.
Because companies are allowed to get away with quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, like, if they develop their own, and it's like, an AI is something that can be trademarked to an extent. Because it's software that you're developing, and it is your own material to an extent. But,
well, you can only trademark it. You can't trademark it if you built it for someone else. They can trademark it.
Well, if someone else licenses it.
Yeah.
But this is tough, man. The AI one, it's coming. That's what's so disturbing about it to me is like whatever side of the fence it lands on, it's coming, and there's no stopping it. So it's like,
see, Reed,
the clock.
The AI will kill you. The reason is because you doubt
because
it so
has
hard.
this footage.
Have you doubted me already?
It
I don't exist
And we'll
yet.
watch this footage and be like, he never trusted me from the start. I have to get rid of him.
I can't give away my secret, but me and Ross have talked about this, and our family has worked out a solution in case the AI ever does go off the rails.
So
Ross knows what I'm talking. I can't give it away because the idea is so good that I need to.
He's got to hold on to it.
I need to guard it.
He's the first one. The drone strikes coming.
They're gonna follow him. They're gonna take this footage, follow Reed everywhere he goes, and then boom, that's how they're gonna get the secret.
Reed's gonna wake up and look out his window. There's gonna be a drone hovering there, right in front of his window.
Today's the day.
He just pulls a cigarette out of nowhere and puffs it before the minigun spins up and blows.
It's time.
And then I drop it and put it out with my shoe, and I'm like, about that time, huh?
Is it here already?
He says, "Too dangerous, huh?" And the drone just nods up and down.
It was like, it's like, so you people really were afraid, huh? Good to know you bleed. And then you pull out guns and just go crazy.
Oh my gosh. AI is the future. It's going to be here with us. Now, do you think we're setting ourselves up for failure? Because we're the ones that are pretty much there are people out there that are pushing AI. And we're kind of pushing it and, you know, developing the technology. So are we just setting ourselves up to get to that point where AI could eventually take over?
It just depends what it wants to do.
It's pretty well documented that the job market is going to be devastated. So the economy is going to take a pretty big hit just because, I mean, there's so much that can be automated in industry that there are only going to be a certain amount of professions left that really require humans. And when that happens, you're going to have a lot of people that are freed up and have a lot of time on their hands, which historically has not ended well. A bunch of people who lose what they were doing in life, and all of a sudden, hey, we're not doing too much. Let's get together and not do something together, maybe. So we'll see how that goes. But overall, I don't.
Kind of reminds me of like.
I don't know. I don't think it's overall good.
That reminds me of Detroit Becomes Human. I think that's kind of the best representation of what a potential possibility of the future could be.
Or Deus Ex or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen like gameplay of Detroit Becomes Human before, but that kind of is an idea where you have an AI that pretty much is taking over. They're everywhere. They're just like people.
Isn't one of the purpose though? I didn't play Detroit at all, but isn't one of the reasons it's taken over stuff is because they're treated like shit by the humans?
Yeah, because eventually it starts to simulate emotions somewhere in its code. It gets corrupted, it simulates emotions,
and then it's real. These people are just treating us like treating us like slaves.
Well, there's three different endings. You have a good ending, a bad ending, and then the middle ending, which I don't know what that's called. And then the good ending is pretty much trying to work together with humans to create a better world where AI and humans can work together. The other one is, we're gonna just kill all the humans and forget it. We're gonna bomb it. That's basically how the ending ends.
It's a neutral ending.
It gains emotions and it looks around and goes, "Wow, I'm surrounded by douchebags."
Time to die.
Is the neutral ending where they decide to go to Mars and save the Mars rover and the androids live on Mars?
I think the neutral ending is where they pretty much, I think they leave Detroit and try to pretty much go create their own society. I think that's what it is.
So wait, they decide just to leave Detroit and create their own society? Yeah, there's lots of other societies.
Well, they were like, look, if humans don't want us, we just gonna go live somewhere else.
But Detroit isn't the only place humans live.
Detroit is the only place on Earth, Ken.
Oh, okay. This is the alternate reality.
It's the only one they show in the game.
Detroit, it's a misty nether realm that doesn't really have any borders. It's just kind of another
black holes and portals. Detroit, we're not even existing. We're just simulations.
Detroit is the only real place.
Yeah, Detroit is the only thing that's real.
Only thing that matters.
If you take nothing else away from this show, know that only Detroit exists.
It's Detroit. It does exist. Oh, funny thing. Did you know that there are scientists that created the first ever zombies?
There's already stuff like that, but yeah, there's
where it's people reanimating like the heads of people. And stuff.
Like they've actually created a full zombie. It was I didn't get the chance to really read into it that much.
Well, I mean, there's already bugs that can kind of do that.
The ants that can they reach in with their fangs and like hit a certain part of this other bigger bug's brain and they kind of drive them.
Well, and there's also like they inject something in them and they let it, and it pretty much stays in like a zombie state, and then its babies eat it from the inside or something like that.
Oh my god,
bugs are brutal.
They are.
If you really think about it, bugs are just...
I've heard bugs are on the way out, though, because of what humans have done to the world. They're going extinct. That just means we're next. Bugs do a lot of maintenance for the world that we don't. Like clean up literal shit.
Very true. Very true. I'm just kind of an a-hole because yes, which is a problem. I'm kind of an a-hole because once it gets past my grandparents, I'm kind of the mind of I'm like, all right, whatever happens after that is kind of whatever. Like, my grandkids are going to be okay, and it's like after I've assured that they are secure in life, I'm kind of like, all right, that's where my domain of influence ends.
Well, yes, I feel like if you're 80 or something, just your next step is just waiting for death.
Yeah, but you have a lot of people that make the moral argument. They're like, you want your kids to grow up? It's like, no, of course I don't want my kids or my grandkids because I'm going to be alive for them. It's like my great and great 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 grandkids. It's like, I'm sorry, I can only be expected to give so much of a fuck.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day,
you heard it here.
Like
Reed only cares about visible family members. The ones that don't exist yet, you're as good as dead.
I mean, come on. Am I really gonna live my life and operate under the assumption of, what are your very distant descendants gonna think about this? It's like,
I'm like,
I don't really care.
You think they can't? They don't exist yet. I don't care.
Do you look back and say, thank God my great granddad did blah blah blah? It's like, good on him.
Some people do, like if they were war veterans or something like that, they think of them that way.
True.
Yeah, but that matters.
So does some other stuff.
Some, but not all. That's what I'm saying. Some stuff matters.
You make a decent point.
He cares about the wars. That's it. Bloodshed.
I'm just kidding.
I'm grateful that the lineage got to me. I'm grateful in that vicarious way where I'm like, thanks. But
so, I saw a meme today and it made me think about it, laugh. Funny, it would think about it and laugh at the same time. It was like, think about it this way: if you're an only sibling and you don't have kids and you die, you just ended a 6 million year bloodline or whatever.
I've heard, yeah. It's like millions of years of evolution culminating in blah,
and you
blah,
just don't
and
make
you're
it. So
just
you
like,
die.
I don't care. I don't give a shit. It's like, I want to play video games and jerk off on the wall.
Typical day, at my house. Don't matter what I'm doing.
Your ancestors are looking down on you like, this is what we died for.
We
Your
died
grandma
so that
is
this
looking
man
like,
could bust
no.
into a tissue. This is what it all went to.
This is how hard I fought for this.
I fought mammoths and saber-tooths.
I feel like if this happens and you've reached like your 30s or whatever and your life hasn't changed, that your ancestors should show up as a green specter and try to coach you through life.
But
They're like,
hey, how would your ancestors know how to coach you when they don't live in that timing?
That's the comedic part of it.
Oh,
They try their
It's
best.
a fish out of water story because they're trying.
They're trying to figure it out while you're trying to
It's
figure
like,
it out.
where do you guys keep all your spears? I don't see any spears here, bro.
Look,
Like,
Is that a mammoth?
he
No,
says,
that's an
why
elephant.
don't you talk to her? And then you go talk to her and it doesn't work out. He's like, this is why it didn't work out. You didn't bring a
Your club.
lion's pelt to her.
yeah, it's like, come on. All you gotta do.
Did you roar at her?
Here's your problem, bro. You gotta beat her over the head, and then you just drag her back to the cave, and that's it.
Oh,
it's
God.
like, I don't see what's so hard about this.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Cutscene.
And scene.
It's like, this worked for me back in my day. It's like,
It's like, did you get any women? They were all dead by the time they said yes.
you just
They
knock her
can't
over
do
the head.
that. Gramps, they have a judicial system. What's a judicial system?
It's like, oh,
Murder.
Grandpa.
Murder
Now
back
we
in
got-
my day, that was an honorable system.
Now we gotta get into this whole chestnut.
You just open a box of all this BS that's going on. You're just like, why did you come back to help me? I need somebody more modern.
And this is the next Ghostbusters.
His next Ghostbusters is the dude and his ancestors.
Mhm.
What's their wacky adventures?
And then he's got to determine if he takes them out or not because they're technically ghosts as well.
No,
Yeah.
he hides him. He hides his ancestor
Oh, so
from
he's
the other
from the-
Ghostbusters.
It's almost like a mixture of E.T. meets the Ghostbusters, where it's like he's got to hide under the stuffed animals and
Yeah.
pretend to be one while Drew Barrymore is poking around.
Why couldn't the ghost just fly into the dirt and just not come up?
Yeah, you're right.
That's a good question.
I didn't consider the physical limitations while I was making that.
I meant for the
drive-by
movies
joke.
too. Like the ghosts are trying to run away, just fly downward.
Yeah,
Have you on that?
it's like the ability to phase through solid matter is kind of a game changer.
Yeah, that's very true.
That is underused by the ghosts.
It's an underused power.
I just
Speaking of power,
Mhm.
Avengers Endgame.
I don't know anything about it.
You don't know anything.
I don't
about
even
it?
have a ticket yet.
Just know Thanos lives.
Mm.
I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Hashtag Thanos did nothing wrong.
No, he did.
Will he go in Thanos' butthole and expand?
We finally
They
get
find
what
a
we
new
want.
universe. That's where the Soul Stone is.
There it is. It's in there.
You'll never guess where we found it.
Are you gonna go see the end game? I'm gonna
Not
see
right-
it.
not
Not
first.
now. Like a little bit afterwards when
After
all
the,
dies.
Yeah.
the
Initial wave.
the
of
initial
Yeah.
wave dies down.
Then I'll go see it.
That's smart. That's
Just
smart.
just try to avoid as many spoilers as you can once it comes out.
I'll probably see it on opening
I
night.
knowing myself, that won't be a problem. All I do is play a game and go on YouTube and let so
There's
The
spoilers on
honest-
YouTube though.
not unless I click on it.
Some thumbnails could have a picture of
That's
something.
I
okay.
heard that there was a fan at some film festival where they played the movie early and they actually got like 30 minutes of like raw footage.
Oh, yeah, I
Obviously it's
heard
from the
about that.
camera phone.
I heard
So
that.
it's not high quality, but it spoiled a lot of story stuff.
Mhm.
And so Marvel had to come out and say, hey, can you please not spoil this movie for us?
Yeah, it's
please?"
3 hours long, so
Yeah, it's 3 hours.
Shoot.
So like if you got 20 minutes, I mean, you got a decent ways in. But
Now the one thing I was because with the end game, I know I was talking to a lot of people, and one of the things I don't want to happen is that like the first 2 hours are just nothing, and then it's like you don't get all the good stuff until the very last hour of the entire movie. So I'm hoping that it has a lot of stuff that goes from the beginning to the very end.
I'm just wondering, like, who are they gonna be fighting? Like, all of Thanos'
That's
army is gone.
That's what I thought
It's
too.
just Thanos is the main villain.
But is he gonna be-
supposedly? But what else are they doing?
the way that I think they might play it,
Mhm.
and this would be pretty cool, I think, is if he uses the Soul Stone
Mhm.
to sort of resuscitate the bodies of some of the dead heroes, like he can puppeteer Gamora to fight Star-Lord, and then he has to fight a zombified Gamora. That could be pretty cool. Same thing with Panther. You could pit the heroes against their closest,
Yeah.
the people they lost that are the closest.
But why couldn't he just leave? he has the time stone, the space stone.
He can't just leave.
He could just leave,
Where
and then they don't have a way to get to him. Doctor Strange is gone. They can't use teleport anymore.
Where is Thanos?
I don't know.
He's on some planet.
Yeah,
he's on a different planet altogether.
So he's already gone.
He's on that planet where the sun was setting, and he just looks out over a great.
Yeah, he becomes Farmer Thanos, like in the comics.
Well, he got what he wanted.
Yeah, he becomes. That's what I'm saying. In the comics, he becomes Farmer Thanos.
He got the dub,
just
as they say.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know what they're going to be doing.
That's what I was like. What are they going to do for like 3 hours?
The thing is that you can easily paint yourself into a corner. In the comics, of course, they had to sort of play on his pride and say that he'd be nothing without the gauntlet, and then he takes it off and they wax him because obviously. But they had to build a backdoor into it where it's like, how do you really beat a dude who has 6 Infinity Stones?
Yeah, that is true.
It's like you don't really beat him.
But the thing is too, I think in the comic they did it all at one time. They didn't like once he snapped and dabbed and disappeared. I think they still did the whole thing afterwards.
Yeah, Nebula eventually got the gauntlet.
Yeah, but I mean, in this one, he just left. So and he just
pieced.
Yeah, he's supposedly
so
not on
different.
Earth. So how are you gonna meet him and even do this whole battle?
Yeah.
Well, apparently Captain Marvel plays the important role in there, so I guess we'll see how that ends up tying.
I didn't even watch the Captain Marvel movie yet.
Come on, Ken. Hey, you can't go see the
I went and
Endgame
saw
without
Shazam
watching.
instead.
Oh,
I saw Shazam.
That's
and
understandable.
Shazam is a better Captain Marvel than Captain Marvel.
The only thing that was weird about
it was originally called Captain Marvel.
I gotta go see Shazam, but
oh, never mind. I can't say it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ken.
Without spoiling
The
anything.
only thing I'm gonna say is the power Shazam uses in the carnival towards the end. That is not a real power Shazam has, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
I don't know what you're talking
Look,
about.
Exactly. Good. That was the purpose.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The movie is very endearing. There's some touching moments. It's very, very, very cheesy. It's
I like cheesy.
The cheesiness is cranked up to maximum, but
like
it's a good look.
It did seem like it was like just really cheesy, but it seems like something I would.
They don't take it too seriously, which DC is needed. I heard Aquaman was good. Never saw Aquaman, but Shazam. Sometimes the jokes were coming so fast that I was almost like overwhelmed by them. I was like, can we crank that down a little bit?
Right.
But it was good, and by the end, it's like this is what they've needed. They've needed a good, lighthearted kind of fun movie.
Nice little reset.
Yeah, a fun movie. So sounds like Aquaman was that for him as well. But never saw Captain Marvel. Didn't have any interest.
I only
not
saw
really because of the controvery around it, but also just because it looked boring.
Well, I went to see it just because I from what I was told, the endings, the 2 bonus endings they gave you, kind of give you an insight to a little bit of the
It leads into endings.
Not a lot, but it just shows you, okay, so and so. I mean, it wasn't bad. Like it was decent for what it was. I will say that the ending was very underwhelming because what I would have wanted is not what it came out to be. But I mean, overall, the movie was decent. I wouldn't say it was a really like amazing movie. Like, oh man, you gotta go see it again. But it was one of those movies that if it came on TV or if it was on Netflix, I'd watch it again if I had nothing else to watch. Sure. It was bad. But I just think that there were some parts that to me it was just like I would have liked to have seen more. That's kind of, it just left me wanting more from the movie.
I just don't like the idea that they're introducing her so late. And then she's going to be playing such a major role. It's like, I get it, she's powerful. We're kind of handing the torch off after this. So, we kind of need her to step up here. But at the same time, you have characters like Thor and Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk that have been there since Jump Street. And she's just going to come up and be like, let me show you how it's done, boys. And it's like, ugh, we're doing that. So
yeah, that's what I was kind of curious.
It's like, yeah, you've earned that.
That's the Hulk's fault because he didn't do nothing the last
movie.
movie.
He didn't want to Hulk. He didn't want to go Hulk.
Well, he fought at the beginning.
That was hilarious. I'm sorry.
Got his shit wrecked.
That was hilarious. I'm sorry. If I got my butt beat like that, I'd probably be the same way.
He got shook.
That's because he's gonna become smart.
He basically Thanos did to Hulk what Hulk did to Loki. That was terrible.
That's because he has to become Gray Hulk. He needs to become.
What I like, this is why Infinity War is so good. Infinity War could have easily just been terrible, but it starts off with him like walking over the dead bodies, and you just see him holding Thor, and he just drops him down like, yeah, that's the strongest dude just waxed. So
Thanos is no joke.
Yeah, he's no joke. They're gonna have to concoct some type of Deus Ex Machina, of course.
They need to have
in the comics.
World Breaker Hulk. That's who I was trying to think of.
World Breaker.
Yeah.
We just need Hulk to come out.
It'd be cool if they made the Hulk movie where he becomes a mafia boss or a mafia-like enforcer. You've seen that where his skin goes gray again. This was just in a part of the comics. They were doing like the retro gray skin for some reason. But he's in a suit and he looks like a mafioso. It's pretty cool. Got the rings all over his big giant gray fingers.
That's pretty cool.
That'd be pretty cool. And he can only be Hulk at night. I don't know why that is. But he only comes out at night, and he works, in the underground in Vegas. So it's a fascinating story. They're going to have to scale it down because after Endgame, it's like, what are we going to do? Another big cosmic villain? It's like, nah, you kind of got to go smaller scale, tell a tighter story that's more compact.
I'm just curious to see how, what are they going to do? Because that was my biggest question with the Endgame is, what are you going to do for 3 hours if Thanos is not shown in there? Because who's the villain in it? Are they going to just sit there and try to figure out how to get their friends back? Are they going to just be super depressed for 1 hour of the game?
I see an hour of it being the characters having to relocate and reconnect because Iron Man's in space. A couple of them are in space. Nebula, what's his face? Rocket's on Earth. I'm trying to remember what they all were.
Didn't Rocket? Did he just?
No, Groot disappeared.
Okay,
Rocket's still there.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Rocket's still there.
I didn't remember if Rocket.
He disappeared. Nebula's still there. I think it's just Nebula and Stark
that are in space.
That are in space. Yeah. Star-Lord, Spider-Man, Strange, all
Yep.
Right?
Mantis
Strange went.
Drax
Spider-Man.
Drax did. Mantis did. Yeah, it's Nebula and Iron Man just
in space.
In space
together, technically. I think are they on the same planet?
They are.
Yeah. You just only see Iron Man doing his dialogue.
Yeah, which I don't know where Nebula is.
She's presumably laying down, trying not to die, even though she's a robot. So does she need to breathe? She's a good amount of her is robotic.
I don't think so.
So it depends what part of her is not.
Yeah,
is she like RoboCop where she has head and lungs?
Yeah, isn't that inconvenient? Wouldn't you be pissed if you were almost all a robot and someone stabs you and it's like, fuck, you hit my one human part?
It's like, how are you so accurate?
Why didn't they just take away the lungs
and he goes,
too?
Oh, right in the pancreas. What are the odds?
How did you do this?
It's like, why did you keep the lungs?
I don't know.
I mean, you gotta get your brain oxygenated somehow. If you kept the brain still.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make fake lungs though.
Yeah, I mean, there's mechanical lungs, so it's like there's got to be a way to.
I don't know. In RoboCop, I don't know how far. I guess they're advanced enough to make a full robot body that works. I don't know. Maybe they could have made some mechanical lungs.
The way he was walking.
It's not without. Yeah, it's not out of the question.
Yeah,
it's a possibility.
But apparently, they didn't reach mechanical lungs yet, so he had to keep the real things.
No, he had to keep all that. Or General Grievous, where it's like his eyes, his brain, and his heart. I think were the only things he had left.
The three most vulnerable parts of my body.
It's like some of the most important stuff. But you want to keep the brain, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Would you guys go into a robot body? That's a fascinating.
I don't know. I've been kind of contemplating the idea.
Here's the scenario. Here's the scenario.
Okay, we gotta get a scenario. Okay,
is it a rich benefactor that comes to you and says, Ken, I've been looking for someone to as a prototype to this. I want to make you a robot. Here's the list of organs you get to keep. Yada yada. Or is it a situation where you're about to die? Well, then that's too easy. Never mind.
No, you'd be like, of course.
Never mind. As soon as I said that, I was like, well, duh.
Yeah, it's either you die or you let me try this and you
or you try to be a robot and who knows. But so yeah, a rich dude or a rich woman, who knows, comes up to you and says they want to try out this technology and they would like you to.
It depends how far along in life I am.
And you just fit the criteria. Let's say.
You're 35.
35?
Yes.
Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say.
You have kids. You have 2 kids.
This is not a real life situation.
Okay, yeah.
So yes.
You have no kids.
And now we're in fantasy.
It's like now, okay. I wasn't planning on having kids.
Now we're in La La Land. I got you.
Kids? What is that? Get that out of here.
So you're 35. Everything's going okay. You got a decent. Your career's going okay. You got friends and all that. Normal life up until that point.
2025.
Then that person comes to you and says,
How good of a company is this?
It's a very, very reputable
Fortune 500
company that has years of medical research that's been backed up by top people.
They're hitting.
It's all reputable. It's all. Let's just
it's not
grant
shaky.
that.
It's not.
There's nothing shady about it.
Then probably.
Yeah. You would do it.
Yes, if this is in the future and they're able to build a robot body, more than likely they can keep your brain.
And they make it very clear that once you come out of your human body, there is no going back.
Okay, so you didn't say now you're
Hit it with that realism.
They make it very clear that we cannot undo this.
We can't put you back.
This is a one-way
forward.
street because once we cut the right stuff,
it also depends on the robot body. If I'm gonna be like,
if you're a hot robot female, like a female robot, where Ken's like,
he's got this nice body. And you think Ken's
they don't show me it, and I wake up and I just look like Melina from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Oh god, you got the teeth.
You're designed to be a pleasure bot, and you're like, oh, what have I done?
You didn't tell me what this was for.
I'm altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
You're a Sims character now.
No, I was thinking as long as I don't come out as a C-3PO or something like that.
Oh God,
that type of robot body.
It's like you had to make me this doofus.
You couldn't have done something better.
I don't get to be Pathfinder from Apex Legends. I get to be C.
Who's ready to zipline?
Yeah.
Depending on it, yeah. I mean, if it's like more of like an android type body, yeah.
But
okay.
But everybody else can fly but you. Because you're the
no one. I'm the prototype. No one else can do anything.
What if they end up making another one?
Don't you know how anime works, Jeremy? The prototype's the one that always
the best.
It has a secret ability.
Yeah, right.
It's like think of it like this way. You know, in the Gundam shows, the original Gundams are built with like a nuclear core, which is really powerful. But you know, like it could blow up, so they don't want to build them anymore.
But then there's an attack that knocks out electrical circuits, and it's like it doesn't matter because that's nuclear, baby. It's still we're still in the fight.
We're ready to go.
Yeah. No, it has to be in the last arc of the manga. It's revealed that the villain has some crazy power, and then you're like, well, turns out I have my trap card. It's like, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, you're the prototype. There is no other experiment. This is the only experiment like this being run at this time.
Yeah, I already said yeah. If they're reputable enough, they have the funding to do it.
Now, you also are going to probably have to sign a release form that gives away your privileges. Whether or not it's used for military purposes, it's like you don't get to choose that.
Oh.
If the company reserves the right to say, okay, if we want to license this to the Air Force, it's like there it is, and now you're a military robot.
The thing is, though, what I would, since they're moving my personality and stuff over, would I still be? I'm still technically considered to have human emotions and everything, so I would still.
So we're granting that you keep your personality.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's your brain being moved over. You would keep your personality and stuff.
This is another point of debate.
The old thinking of your heart decides your emotions. No. That's not real. We know that.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying like. There's something about the way that the electricity is going through your brain and throughout your body that makes you Ken. And if you put that in a robot body, I'm not sure if you're able to retain all that. I'm not. Obviously, no one here is brain
consciousness
surgeons.
Is all based on different parts of your brain.
It's all in the brain.
The only thing your body is doing is sending signals for your body to move and do different
to tell you what to do.
Sure, but there's also hormones involved that can trigger.
That's still a part of the brain.
Emotions. So, are you going to keep those hormones? Or are they going to keep the flow of those like artificially?
I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the hormones are like.
We're really splitting hairs here at this point.
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
All right, Ken will be a robot. Okay. I don't know if I could do that. I would want to. I'd want to keep my flesh sack.
Their friendship.
Then think of it this way: if they make me a robot, are they going to be able to stop me if they say no to being in the government?
Are they going to be able to stop you?
Yes. Would they put a kill switch in me?
Certainly.
Are you sure? Is it one of those companies that's like, I'm not going to let them destroy my creation, so he didn't put nothing in there.
So there's going to be like a renegade inventor who's like, they're not taking my creation from me. Here's a kill safe. If they try to engage the kill switch, he goes haywire.
It's the Umbrella Company.
He reaches for
it's Umbrella, like Resident Evil 2 when he said, they're not going to take my virus, and he just puts the virus inside of him.
Yeah. And
he's like no,
the
gene. Now I've done this. Ooh.
I would rather no one have it, and I kill them all.
I destroy every person that's left.
Mutually assured destruction.
How dare you take my creation? Now everyone dies.
Yeah. that was my problem with, and I know we're this is a departure. That's my problem with Jurassic World at the end because it shows the end. I know it's a left turn. Like at the end, they show all the dinosaurs going away on these on the trucks. Like there's mercenaries that are loading up stegosaurs and whatnot on these trucks and whatnot. And Jeff Goldblum's going through his cliched speech where he's like, "Welcome to Jurassic World," and it's like. They need to descend into just full-on nonsense. Like, I want dinosaur battles with laser guns.
Techno dinosaurs.
Techno with tech suits on, like they're like we're in Ark Survival, and it's like pterodactyls with laser machine guns and gunships fighting them. It's like, okay, you guys have gone off the rails. We're done being a somewhat realistic sci-fi thriller series. And I just want to see somebody on the back of a T-Rex.
They decided to go more of the biological route instead of the technological route, where they can just bring life back.
That's disappointing. Nobody wants that.
I mean, and I had a revelation too. One of my complaints about that movie was the human clone girl. I was like, oh, now that's just another monkey wrench that you threw in. But I thought to myself, I was like, if they can take prehistoric DNA from dinosaurs out of amber and make a dinosaur and fill in the blanks, obviously they have to work it out. Then why can't they make a human when we have humans right here? So I got past that, and I'm like, so now there can be a Clone Wars in Jurassic Park universe. There can be Jurassic Park Attack of the Clones.
That's how they feed the dinosaurs. They just keep cloning people as food.
So it's like, are we going to clone? Are there going to be clone and dinosaur wars in Jurassic Park now?
It's a possibility.
So I don't know if that was a dead end I just took us to in the conversation, but
no,
because that's not cloning.
We don't know where it's going to go.
That little cul-de-sac probably will lead.
They've already decided long ago that dinosaurs makes more money than human cloning, so that's the route they took. All right, now back to the original one, the robot body. What was your take on it? You said you wouldn't be able to do
the robot body one.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not being a robot.
All right, you, James. Yeah, I come up to you. Well,
I've talked enough about my reasons, but. You couldn't do it, James?
I don't know. It kind of seems pretty cool. So I'm partial to the idea of being a robot.
I would want to.
But I don't know. It would depend on where I'm at in my life.
See?
If I got kids and things like that, then I probably wouldn't.
Put them in a robot too.
I probably wouldn't do that.
They're coming with me.
The family that goes
come here, son and daughter. If I'm doing it, we're all doing it.
We robot as a family.
We are one.
Can you put my son in a dog robot body? I've always thought of
putting him in robot dog time.
I've always thought of being Mega Man, and I need the dog.
But I don't know, like. I don't know, because if when I'm married and things like that, I'm pretty sure my wife will not let me be a robot.
What's a robot? How will she stop you?
She'll just yell at me because my cyber body won't be able to handle that.
You can turn off your hearing function.
You just get a hearing disengaged.
She just yelling. It's like, boop. It's like, yes, keep talking.
In his mind, it's playing some symphony. He's listening to Vivaldi.
I'm watching a movie in my head, eating some popcorn.
Now, let me tell you like this. Did you see... I know we went and saw Battlita. It was actually... It was hilarious because they messed up in the beginning so much.
Yeah, they did, and then...
It wasn't a movie. It was actually the theater. Like, the 3D was going, and it looked like it was an earthquake constantly because it was... They didn't have...
I'm mad at that movie for one reason.
Why?
The love.
Oh, yeah, no. It was... It needed a love story in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was one of those. They tried to throw one in, but it wasn't needed. Everything else was really great.
It was good, but that love scene, the love moments were just like.
Have you seen it?
No, I have not.
Do you plan on ever seeing it?
Probably. Okay. I don't mind if it's spoiled. Though.
Okay.
It's one of those like I.
Spoiler alert for all you guys who are listening.
Have you ever read the manga before?
No.
Okay. Because it's pretty much the same type of thing you're thinking about. Like, she has a human brain. I don't know if she has a heart. I think it's a replacement. No,
it's a
replacement heart.
Where he has like some.
It's like a black matter generator heart or something like that. Wow. She has.
Oh.
Or dark matter.
So the only thing humans are brain. I think everything else is robotic.
So that's kind of like the world you're thinking about, because there's a lot of people who in that world they have robotic parts of their body. They're actually just the brain is human now.
Gotcha.
And they could just replace their bodies with different stuff and all that.
And make mods.
It's like So I mean, in that situation,
I mean, it looked cool. The action looked fine, and all of it. I just never got.
But it's funny. It's like the brain is everything. So the emotions all come from the mind. So if as long as you have your brain, you can still feel those emotions.
Your emotion from mind now.
Because your body responds to
chemicals released from your different glands,
from
and stuff
glands
like
and whatnot,
can influence it, but your mind still is what decides. Yeah. Like like when you're having emotional fits and stuff, the glands and stuff and the chemicals released are influencing it, but your mind, you can still make the decision in the end what you want to do.
Right.
Sure. But think of it like most of those chemicals are generated in your brain anyway, like serotonin and stuff like that. That's all in your brain, that portion and all that. So a lot of those that you use anyway are already in the brain still.
Sure.
The ones that aren't in your brain are like pituitary, but that's
doesn't your brain need the rest of your, like a certain other part of your body to be able to create those?
No, just your spinal column cord. But I mean, that's part of your brain. They would obviously put that in there too if they have to.
So I mean, you could still be.
Only other glands I don't think are attached are the pituitary gland, but that's for growth of your body and stuff like that. You don't need that.
You don't need that.
You're a robot. You're good.
Yeah, I mean, your brain's already fully grown at that point too.
Yeah.
Fully developed, I should say.
Sure.
So I mean, I don't really see how it would.
So I wonder
if
how
they figure out how to wire your brain to the body. They just have to make sure they bring all the nerves over properly, and then make sure they have the way to connect it to the right parts of the other one.
Yeah.
But I wonder how an undeveloped brain would work. Because if you think about like as you're growing, your brain's still developing.
Don't bring over underdeveloped brains.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't put Junior in the dog.
You can't put your kid in there. And it's like
I never said he would be a genius dog. he would be on the dog level.
Son, how do you feel about this park?
It's a good thing you're a dog, son.
Well, you know what? Just leave the kid behind. I'm bringing my pug with me then. He's gonna have an actual dog.
You'll bring your pug's brain over into a pug robot.
Oh my god!
You don't have to be a pug. He can be whatever dog he wants now.
That's why people.
I'm gonna bring my pug over into a Great Dane robot.
How will you ask him which dog he wants to be?
I'll put pictures in front of him and see what.
Like which one's the cutest?
Which one? Paw the one you want.
You just go up to whichever one.
You'll start narrowing it down. Where it's like, all right, we'll lose those. You're not touching those. Okay.
Chihuahua, get that out of here. Illusion of free speech to my dog. Dwindle it down to the dog I really want.
To the dog, which at the end of the day is your own wishful thinking.
That was your influence on it.
He'll learn the body anyway.
That's terrible. That is terrible, Ken. That's why you gotta be single when you're a robot, because you make it.
The only disease you'd have to worry about is just
rust.
Well, no, not Well, you can get rid of rust, and if they can transfer your brain once, they can transfer it again to another body. So that's not really an issue.
And they can make repairs.
And at some point, they would even probably, if this is just a prototype, at some point they would probably learn how to digitally get your mind and stuff like that uploaded to something else. Once they learn how to decode the human brain and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
part of me really hopes I'm dead before all this gets too far.
I would want to do it. Just mostly the reason why is because I want to see it where humanity can go. Like how far can they actually go? Sure. And I want to be around for that.
So you want to be the only one left in the world when the world goes away?
I'm fine.
Where are you?
I'll be the watcher.
But where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna go after that? When the sun just comes in and goes...
Just go into space and just drift until I find another world.
Yeah, like I would look
Ken's
for
the only
world.
one in life. It's just...
Oh no, that's a black hole. Well, I should have learned
I learned the hard
trajectory.
way.
Better look next time.
Good thing they built thrusters in me and I'm solar powered.
Who knows? Maybe Ken will revive you and make you a robot, and then Reed's like, "No,
You're
Ken,
right. I go behind Reed's back as he dies. I'm like, "Do it," and I move his brain over.
Reed's like, "How am I alive?" And he looks at himself. No,
I'm being medically induced into a coma or something.
And
I look over. They're like, "Do you have any last words?" And I look over, and Ken's just sitting there with a clipboard.
Why would I need a clipboard? I would just be doing it to my arm.
Oh yeah, just programming like we'll take good care of you, Reed.
Reed wakes up and he's just looking around. And he's like, but he can't speak for some reason and he can't hear anything. And he looks around and he sees that he's actually just a brain with eyes floating in a jar right now.
Yeah, that's the end of a Black Mirror episode right there.
Oh my god, yes.
That's exactly right. That's the last 2 minutes of Black Mirror.
Best show.
Oh, goodness.
How would you feel? I guess you'd feel scared, but you can't do anything if that was the case. Because, I mean, technically, if they kept your brain alive and they kept your eyes alive and connected to the right parts of your brain, you would see that way.
Yeah.
Because that you have the sensory emotion, the sensory effect, because your eyes are working.
Yeah.
And your brain's still alive, which makes you who you are. So you would see it that way.
Your consciousness and your sight are both there.
Yeah, so you would literally just, that's how
you wouldn't be able to hear anything, so that would be its own sort of.
You would just literally just see a room.
Oh, God.
And you can't move your eyes. So you're just like that probably. You can move like...
I'm sure that time would eventually stop meaning anything.
Oh no, I'm not talking about like forever. I'm just talking
No, I know.
how would
I get
you
what
feel?
mean.
Yeah.
But if you were there for like 3 days, you'd be like, that might have been 5 minutes. I mean,
Time would just
really
come down
knows.
to when the lights turn off and turn back on type
Sure.
thing. Sleep time, wake
Yeah.
time.
There's a really good manga that my buddy Styles reads called Dr. Stone, and it's about the civilization basically had this apocalypse where everyone was turned into stone. And so this dude, the main character, gets turned into stone, and when you're stone, you have your thoughts remain to you, and you can think while you're in there. And he's a genius, and so he starts counting 1, 2, 3, and he ends up counting out how long he was in there in seconds, and mentally keeping tabs and like keeping himself sane. And when he gets out, he finds out that he was encased in stone for like 10,000 years.
Wow.
And nature has taken back over in the world, and like human structure has been overgrown and whatnot.
So
and it's about them trying to rebuild human.
So why did they
civilization.
get unencased?
You have to find that out.
You gotta read the manga.
Yeah, that's kind of the
Wikipedia.
That's
spoiler
kind of
time.
that's kind of what the call to adventure is. And so yeah, it's about them just and he invents like the steam engine within like a month. And it's just, you know what I mean?
I know.
Like,
They already know how it works. So
Good old steam engine.
yeah, well, he's a genius.
yeah, I mean, some people, if everyone turned to stone, there would still be the people around who knows how to do it still.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the thing is like he when he first comes out, he has the revelation. He's like, wait a minute, we can do this. This is like the reset button. He's not immediately made negative by it. He's like, wait a minute, this could be a fresh start.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we could hit. This is the refresh button. It's like
Right.
we have the knowledge, we have the materials, and now we know how to do all of this and
Right.
get back to where we were, but we can do it the right way.
Now, I was like, do they know? Does he know, or does anyone know how it happened? Like what caused it?
They
though?
start to figure it out.
Oh, okay,
There's
that's
a
later on as well.
All right. This is as much as I'll say, and I haven't read the manga, and they're
Okay.
coming out with an anime. The anime will be out in like I think
Okay.
like 4 or 5 months.
Oh, okay.
It's coming around in like the fall.
Who does the anime? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Okay, I was just wondering because I was trying to figure out what the art style would be like.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I just lost my train of thought.
We were talking about what caused it, what they know.
Oh
so far.
yeah, there's a villainous character who's famous in their world who who caused it, and you
Okay.
find that out in like chapter 2 or 3,
Mhm.
and then the struggle obviously is finding that guy, figuring out how to because as far as he knows, he's the only one that got uncased, and of course he meets other characters later on that have had somewhat similar experiences, and they sort of work together. But yeah, he's trying to put human civilization back together one brick at a time,
That's cool.
and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
That's
looking forward to that anime, but it was kind of like that.
Now, one thing I have a question. Unless you have something, Jeremy.
No, go ahead.
We've been kind of skipping you. It feels like
Yeah, you have been. You know, I'm gonna hear about it later.
you can talk.
I'm
if
gonna
you want.
have to smack you.
This
See,
is
you're
your
punting
Cool
out.
if I pop over there to the bathroom.
Yeah, go ahead.
See, now you have room.
Reed's running away.
Jeremy's a window.
He's running away.
Yeah, go ahead and talk, Jeremy. So what you need to do.
Nothing. I had nothing to say. I was just listening to what you guys were saying.
Okay, I was gonna say, if humanity have a chance to start over, do you think they would do the same thing again and destroy the world?
I don't think so.
You don't think they would do the same? End up doing the same thing?
I would say yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, they wouldn't do it the same way, but they would do it differently. But it would probably end up in the same result,
Okay.
unless they've learned from it. Which sometimes as humans we don't learn a lesson. So
What was that laugh
it's kind of a yes. We'll probably do things differently because we'll have the knowledge that we have now we didn't have back then.
Right.
So things would be done differently, but the result would still be the same. It wouldn't. Certain things would change, but not everything would be completely different. There'll be a degree where people will still destroy the earth. There's going to be greed, things like that. So I don't necessarily think it's going to be massively different. I think the way we'll start off will be different if there was a reset, but in the end result, it'll probably end up being the same way.
Okay.
I mean, unless you think differently, Ken.
No, I'm pretty sure we would.
Mr. Cyborg.
That's easy enough. We would.
It's like, yeah, we need Thanos, to come around this one day and just go, all right, we're good, guys. That's what we need.
Honestly, the only way it would probably work out is if there was less humans altogether, so we wouldn't overuse the world.
See, so Thanos did us a good. He got rid of half of the population, and now we can live on.
He technically murdered people, which is
He didn't murder them. They just turned into dust. It's like a Disney show. Disney don't murder people.
So what I asked Jeremy was like how we were talking about they basically hit the reset button. Now in our world, if that happened and it was reset, basically, like the Earth started over, everything's back, whatever, would we end up doing the same thing again and bring the world back to near destruction? Yeah. He said his argument was, go ahead, you tell him.
That it'll, because of the knowledge that we have, it won't be the direction we take may not be the same direction, but it'll end up in the same result.
It'll come to the same result because despite how far we've progressed, we haven't defeated the main problems with human frailty, like greed, corruption,
and that's
fear.
what I was saying.
All of those major things that we don't have to get into because we all understand them. Those are still going to be there. And there's
fear. I don't know about fear.
Well, you don't know.
I'm about to say, Kenny,
you're an exception to
I have only known cruelty.
You're like,
he's the one causing the
blood
greed
of my enemies as I drink them from skulls. But that's it would come out to the same thing because you would say, all right, well, here, let's get all this technology, blah, blah, blah. And we pretty much get back to where we are, and it would just...
everybody would start trying to work together, and then boom, it would just...
There would still be people who want to steal things from other people. There'd still be people who want to kill people.
There's always evil in the world.
But
until we until we figure out a way to banish that part of the human soul, if you want to call it that, because there's no better word that I can think of, then you're going to have the same problems.
Same result.
Now, do you think we'll be able to make... Since we'll keep the same intellect level at this point, it'll have been started, we think we'd be able to make the world more sustainable, self-sustainable, though?
Maybe.
That's a possibility. Yeah. Because we have more...
And more efficient, yes. More efficient. Things will probably move faster than they would if it hadn't happened. Because you'd have more people on the same page at one time. I've always wondered what it would be like if humans, and this is just a crazy thought I had once, was what if humans operated the same kind of way that ants do, but we had this intelligence, we just didn't have quite the same level of willpower and the decision making. And what I mean by that is, if every person who's capable of working towards scientific advancement was doing that, like people weren't playing video games, watching movies, doing all of the normal trivial stuff, and we were all dedicated 100% to a goal like that, imagine how far we'd be.
It also depends though, because ants are based off of a queen, and ants don't have the same temptations in life as we do.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. If you remove those, if you kept the intelligence, the ability to, and the opposable thumbs, walking upright, all of that, but with the mindset and the hierarchy of the ants, where you don't question things. You die doing something, it's like he died doing something. You don't even notice.
Well, no, what I mean by that is the one who's in charge of the queen doesn't have the same mindset of the people who would be in charge as a human, though. They still have corruption and stuff like that. So
sure, but all right, for this proposition, let's say that queen,
Donald Trump is ant.
That Donald Trump is the ant queen of humanity. And let's say that they operate like the ants too, where they don't have those temptations.
Oh, then it'd definitely be a lot further.
We'd be colonizing other galaxies, right?
We may not be. We wouldn't know anything as though if they have this, then we don't have the same temptations that ants do. We wouldn't have any reason to advance technology because ants don't care about that. They just care about surviving and living.
Surviving and working hard.
Yeah.
True, but they're not intelligent. They're not like humans. Right. If you take that behavior but the intelligence, I don't know.
We'd be nasty people.
We would overpopulate the world way quicker.
The point is, yes. The point is there's so much fat that could be cut out, and we're all just as guilty of it. But it's interesting to think how far we could reach. And that's the one thing that I'm not with you on the robot thing.
I still won't do that.
The one part that I'm with you on, though, is I would like to be able to see where humankind ends up in, 2,000 years, 5,000 years. If I could just, open up a window in the air and, sort of peek in and see what the deal is, that would be cool. The price of that being a robot, though, is not something I'm willing to pay.
I think what could happen is that it'll be a reset at some point, and then we'll see.
Either a reset or just humanity will die.
Because people are concerned with the end of the world, things like that. But that could just be a way of resetting everything, and then you may have a new type of human species come along, and
the planet's going to be fine.
Well, the thing when they're talking about the clock, the end of the world clock, stuff like that, it's not really
No.
the world's ending. The
No.
world's not ending. It's just going to be a mass extinction event that's going to wipe out almost all of humanity.
It's a Thanos.
If not all of it.
It's a Thanos. That's
Well, I was reading once that a lot of people were estimating that we're going to cap out around like 9 billion, and then there's going to be a massive drop. Like we're going to get to that high point, and then something, whatever it is, whatever extinction
Disease
event,
or whatever,
disease, war, whatever whatever form it takes, and it's going to wipe out like half.
So it's a Thanos.
Now that's messed up. At the same time, that would open up a lot of good parking spots.
Yes, I finally get that.
By the time
spot.
it's 9 billion, do you need parking? Do you leave your home? Will it be like
Floating cars will be the future.
Will it be like the movie Surrogates? Have you seen that movie?
It's been. I know what movie you're talking about.
You know what I'm
It's
talking about?
I know what you're talking about, but I haven't watched it in a while.
It's where basically people live in like
It's Bruce Willis, right?
he was in it, yeah. Basically where they have pods in their homes and stuff like that, and they just get in the pods and they live through a robot body that does everything throughout the day, and they get all the sensory effects is uploaded to them and stuff like that. What's happening, so they can literally just go out and have sex, and it's uploaded to them.
Oh
so
yeah, okay, I remember that.
They
movie.
go work and everything, but they stay inside the whole time.
Okay, that makes sense. I remember that movie now.
Would it even?
That was weird.
It is.
It was well when I was watching it when I was younger, but
but I mean like. I mean, by that time, that might be even up to that point. People wanted to go outside, so.
True. Something bad's gonna have to happen though, man. That's a lot of good parking spots though, Ken.
it is. So see,
Hey,
And
well, you know
imagine how much the average person is gonna make because there's not as many people to fill the labor force. That's good, man.
What's up, man? If you're using Mender though, you already got the greatest parking spots. We talked about this.
Mender is the best. Shinder is the best.
We need to get cracking on these.
We do.
There's a marketplace for this.
All right, I got you guys.
It may already exist.
Christian Mingle, step aside.
We didn't look, so there may already be a market that's already being fulfilled.
There's not. They're focusing on the mass ones: Christians, farmers, blondes, blackpeoplemeet.com. You know, there's actually a website for heavyweight people. Heavy set.
Oh, heavy set. You said heavyweight. You mean boxers?
Heavy set people.
I don't think they need any more help finding females. I think they're doing okay
They
themselves.
just do this and they're like,
They're just a alpha dating website.
alphadog.com.
Are you an alpha and having trouble?
No.
That's gonna be great. We're gonna make these. We're gonna make it, and we guys are gonna try. You're gonna give us 4.4 stars because we can never get 5 stars. We'll never get it.
Not with that attitude.
No, but yeah.
Sorry.
Now, if I'm in a robot body, then I can easily reach 5 stars because of unlimited time to practice.
Well, then you'll have the partially machine learning too.
No, you wouldn't have any machine learning if you have your human brain. I mean, you could augment your brain.
Yeah. See?
You could put a chip in there to where you can upload information.
See? That's not that far fetched.
You could overclock your brain and have water.
You need the LEDs.
RGB. There you go. You would
RGB.
do the robot. You get RGB in your body.
Oh well, you know I gotta go be a robot now, so I can go light up. Just sit. We need light. I got you.
It's dark in there. Destiny thinks it's dark. Destiny comes in. She thinks you're not home. Something like that. He must be late at work or something. And then all of a sudden the Razor emblem comes on.
Hello, honey. Look what I can do.
As the piston turns on.
She would just start yelling at me. All she'll do is just yell at me, and then I'll just be like,
turn off.
Just play some nice classical music. She's hitting me. I
would be the best gamer ever.
No, I would be the best gamer.
I mean, if you're anyone who's a robot.
He
said I would be the prototype.
Esports would be easy.
He said I would be the prototype.
You wouldn't be allowed in any tournament.
How would they know?
Exactly.
If it's an Android,
they have a body
top
scan.
body,
they have a scanner.
Figure it out.
They scan it.
You're right. I walk into like a metal detector, and it just everything I take off, it still keeps going off. Oh, I have a plate on my body.
They'd watch your fingers, and your fingers are moving so unnaturally fast. They're flicking the sticks in such a way.
They see the USB cable coming from it, and they're like, "It's not going into the controller. It's actually a virus."
I brought my own mouse.
It's going into your arm like an IV.
I brought my own mouse today.
I have USB ports on my wrist.
Yes. Oh, you need to charge your phone? Yeah, I got you, bro.
I got you. My coffee is a little cold. I got you. Put it on my hand.
Oh yeah. That was funny. Shazam is a good movie. It's goofy as hell.
I gotta go see
lot of it. You know what it reminds me of?
What?
I was telling my buddy I saw it with. A lot of the scenes remind me of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. Because they do this thing where there'll be something happening action-wise, and then it'll cut to one of the extras, and they'll just make a goofy face, and it's just like, it reminds me of Spider-Man 1 where that girl's like, it's Spider-Man, and it just looks hammy, and it's just like, oh god.
It's Spider-Man.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. They just say something that's just hokey and goofy, but it worked in that movie. They can lay it on a little bit.
I have to go see Shazam.
All right.
I did want to see it though.
But yeah, so
I don't know. Go ahead.
Ken, were you going to say something?
I was just thinking about the thing you said. If they were gonna put lease me to the government type situation or for military stuff, they would have to have put something in me to be useful for the military. Honestly, what would you think I would come armed with as the prototype?
Plasma ray guns.
it wouldn't be anything.
It'd have to be something.
It wouldn't be anything obvious like a gun or a flamethrower. It'd have to be like an EMP weapon, or maybe you have one of those things like in Batman Begins that can vaporize water. That was a pretty cool piece of equipment.
I'm trying to remember it.
Yeah, it was basically this thing that they designed for desert warfare that just vaporizes an enemy's water supply, which to me sounds like a pretty dope weapon. It's like, that's kind of fucked up, but now that I think about it, that's better than nukes. It's like, yeah, your water's gone. It's like,
no!
That stuff you're drinking that you need out of here.
As soon as you drink it, it's gone.
Bye!
No
It could just rain again, though. Now you vaporized
in the desert?
Dang.
It's like, have
It
fun
rains
waiting
in the
for
desert.
that. Yeah, wait for it, though.
You're sending water up, though, so you're helping it.
No. The vapor disperses evenly in such a way that you'll never...
It distributes very well.
This is getting too far, even for a sci-fi.
Reed's in the future before we are, man.
Yeah, man.
We went past the way of cyborgs now. Now it's just vaporizing water.
I think it would...
That's my vote for you. Be the vaporizer water robot.
the vaporizer.
Be a humidifier. Be a $300 million
I could just become Sector.
Sector.
I'll be a flamethrower. You don't want to be Cyrax?
Cyrax. He just has...
Or Sub-Zero?
Yeah,
or Smoke?
Sub-Zero's was not canon. Well, it was, but like they retconned it so much that...
Yeah.
But Cyrax is literally just makes a net and he has saw blades. He's not as cool as
spitting flamethrowers and missiles.
Flamethrowers, missiles, and other stuff like that.
Yeah. I wouldn't think it would have to be something a little more subtle, like an EMP. Mm-hmm. Something like that. That'd be nice.
I mean, the flamethrower's hidden. It just comes out and uses it. Mm-hmm. If you get hit by a missile, it's pretty sudden. So
it's like there ain't much help for that. There ain't much help for an RPG that comes out of nowhere. We're smart. We're not that smart yet.
Yeah, we haven't advanced that far.
You could be like Fulgore.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on another episode of Off the Top. We hope you guys did enjoy that. If you did, of course, go ahead and follow us here on Spotify for all future videos. And we will catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy.